Welcome back. Welcome back to another We Power podcast. Today is going to be a special show, an exciting show. We have one of our sponsors, Stretch-Indy. That's right. Tony Williams-Bey is in the house, and we'll be talking about his story, how he was able to overcome some major obstacles in life to be able to identify what worked for him and how he was able to start his business, Stretch-Indy. Speaking of our sponsors, we want to thank our sponsors, Stretch-Indy, Tony Williams-Bey. If you need to be stretched out, if your body is tight, you need to lose some weight, you need to just open up your lungs, then give Tony a call at 317-828-1490. And if you are in need of insurance, if you have insurance questions, if you need a quote, give Victoria Moore a call with Victory's Insurance Agency, LLC. Give her a call at 317-772-3712. If you need life insurance, health insurance, auto, give Victory's Insurance Agency a call at 317-772-3712. And check out this next ad. And right after the next ad, we will be starting our show with Tony Williams-Bey. If you want to make some money, if you want to learn how to start your own podcast, we'll be right back after this message. Welcome back to another We Power podcast, We Power broadcast. We got another exciting podcast for you. We got a special guest in studio live. One of our sponsors of the show. You've seen it, you've heard it, Stretch-Indy. That's right, Stretch-Indy is in the house. And we're going to stay straight in line with our theme, being able to identify what works for you. I've been working with this brother for some time now, and been through some ups and downs. Our stories are similar in dealing with the system and being able to overcome the obstacles that can bring. But I personally can say one of the ways I've been able to overcome that obstacle is being able to identify what has worked for me. I don't care if it's in business, if it's in health, wealth, whatever it is. When you are able to identify what works for you, and you're able to become a subject matter expert in that area, then you put yourself in a position to conquer anything. As you know, we believe here at We Power that one person's noble passion can be the solution to another person's problem. And we know in this old great country of the USA, most people will pay to have their solutions, their problems solved. And so all we want to do is just expose the passions in people that we can expose the solutions to our community. Now, this brother I'm about ready to bring on, Tony Williams-Bey. Brother has a passion to do what it's a calling to me, because you got to be called, you have to be trained, and you have to have a passion to do what he does for so many across this city. And so I'm gonna bring Tony on, and I'm just let him share a little bit of background about who he is, and most importantly, how he was able to discover becoming a stretch therapist. And then we'll go into just the deep dive of how important stretching is to our overall health, well-being, and success. Tony, man, welcome to the We Power podcast, brother.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. All is well.
Let's talk to us about, man, why a stretch therapist? How did you even? We brothers. The last thing that we probably think about outside of, we both are athletic, and you still look like you could go. But stretching, typically, man, we grab the ball and we on the court. So, with everything that we deal with in life, how were you able to identify becoming a stretch therapist was what worked for you?
First of all, I'd like to say it's an honor and a pleasure to be on the show tonight. as the brother Philip was saying, what works for us, or better yet, what works for you. I just want to give a brief introduction of who I am and what I do as a profession, and what I have a passion for. First of all, my name is Tony Williams-Bey, the owner and founder of Stretch-Indy. And I say that because, as brother was speaking about how I discovered what works for me. Just briefly, I just want to give you guys a introduction, just a quick overview of what led me into my passion as a stretch trainer, or better yet, stretch therapist. So I think my journey began 1994. Okay. 1994 was a time where I found myself in a situation where I had to, for lack of a better word, go and sit down.
Okay.
Go and sit down. So when I say go and sit down, I'm saying that I spent numerous years in the Department of Corrections. As a young guy, I think I was around maybe, I want to say about 25.
Okay, let me ask you this. At that point, at 25, knowing that you're going to have to do some years, did you have any hope that you would be where you are today?
No, I didn't. I didn't have any hope nor any inclination.
Okay.
That from that experience that I would be where I'm at right now, back into the free world, living my dream, basically. So it was very, very intense during that time. I think what really helped me therapeutic wise was reading. I'm an advocate reader.
Yeah, tell us about, for me, I think one of the most powerful superpowers we can ever have at our disposal is reading. Mm-hmm. When I read, man, it takes me mentally to a totally different place, mm-hmm. that allows me to deal with a right now situation. Mm-hmm. And so reading, man, that's what reading empowers me. And so when I'm able to break away and read, and I know we were talking about the other day, somebody broke in my car, and
right.
The most thing that I really wanted back was my books.
Right, your
Y'all
books.
can have the credit cards, I can have I can have the bag. Just throw the books out the window. I want the books, man.
Right.
So talk to us about how reading began to open up a new way of thinking for you.
That's a good question, Brother Philip, because reading for me is what I call therapeutic. As I spoke beforehand, reading was my passion while I was incarcerated. Mm-hmm. And I think, as the brother was speaking about hope, at that particular time, my mindset was basically trying to adjust and adapt to an environment that was very different, mm-hmm. Very foreign. At a young age, being in confinement, it takes a different perspective on a person. So I had to figure out a way to escape.
Right.
And escaping for me, as I said, was reading. I've studied several religions, philosophies, you name it. But one thing that really, really helped me get through my time of incarceration was meditation. I started diving off into meditation, reading various different Eastern philosophies in regards to, how to meditate, how to calm the mind down, how to go within self. And as I journeyed through my time of being incarcerated and reading, meditation, as I reflect back now, was my hope. You understand what I'm saying? Because it gave me a better perspective on who I am as a person. So I've studied meditation. I've studied self-help literature, how to control, your thought process, how to control when you have certain emotional breakdowns and things of that nature, dealing with anger, frustration, agitation, and you name it. I think over the course of time that I was in confinement, that gave me a sense of peace. It also allowed me to really, really figure out what it is that I wanted to become. So as I delved off into meditation, going within self, learning different breathing exercises, things of that nature, I discovered yoga.
Okay.
Yoga is that's a broad topic. That's for another discussion. But I'm just going to basically, give the listeners just some of the key points.
How would you put a definition on yoga?
Well, I would say yoga is it's a holistic aspect to one's life. What I mean by that is it covers three primary components, which is mental, physical, and emotional. Okay. That's pretty well much our makeup as a person. Okay. Outside of the religious aspect. Right.
And so I think most people get caught up in the religious aspect, but miss the health benefit that yoga can provide. And
yes,
so
sir.
As you're on this discovery, you discover yoga, and yoga leads you where?
Yoga led me into the physical components of stretching, being able to incorporate breathing exercises, being able to incorporate meditation on self. For the most part, yoga was a particular component that I tapped into on the physical aspect side of it, with the stretching, learning different poses, and being able to sit for long periods of time in those poses, meditating on how I felt physically.
When you come out of a session and you're in this, let's just call it the jungle. When you come out of a session, what do you feel? How do you feel when you come out of doing a stretching, a yoga session right there in the midst of the jungle?
I feel renewed. I feel like a sense of purification.
Okay.
Most definitely that. It allowed me to become a lot more conscious of myself, my surroundings, and it also allowed me to be able to focus.
Okay.
Focus is very, very, very pay close attention to yourself.
Okay. With that empowerment of being able to focus, when did you discover that you could make a living doing this type of work?
Well, I would say I want to say around 2011 was the end of my sentence of being in confinement. And as I went through the reentry process, came back into society, I studied a little more of yoga, went to various different yoga studios here throughout Indianapolis, and I was able to come in contact with an awesome lady that supported me while I was doing time away from society. And her name was Nikki Myers, which is a co-founder and owner of City Yoga.
Okay.
So Nikki was very supportive in my journey as being a yoga instructor. So once I fine-tuned some of the knowledge and the understanding of yoga, I started to make connections with nonprofit organizations here in Indianapolis. And from there, I just kept studying yoga, getting more familiar with yoga, and learning a lot of the different techniques of yoga. And one of the places that I initially connected a network with was a place called Kepro Institute.
Kepler Institute, powerful, yeah, powerful organization in the city. So now you connected with Kepler. Talk to us about Stretch-Indy, because I want our audience to get to know Stretch-Indy, where you're located, the services that you offer, the specials that you have, and then talk to us about why is it so important for us to get stretched?
Well, first of all, Stretch-Indy is a physical fitness service that I offer, and I look at it as a holistic approach to health and wellness from a therapeutic perspective. And when I say therapeutic, I'm saying the services that I offer, it deals with a lot of different issues that people deal with from a physical standpoint. Some of the commonalities of what I offer is people, that has various different, as I was saying, physical conditions such as back problems. Some of our common issues that we have as people, and as we get older, back problems, you name it, leg issues, swelling, inflammation, poor circulation, and things of that nature.
Not that you would replace a chiropractor, but if they can't make it to a chiropractor, you're probably the next best thing that can get them stretched like they need to be.
Most definitely. And I think what's so unique about Stretch-Indy is the fact that not only do I offer stretch therapy, but I also offer stretch training as well as inversion table therapy.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that on social media.
Mm-hmm.
What's a typical stretch session, and are you flexible with the sessions? And talk to us about what a typical good stretch session, what that looks like. What type of time frame does that hold?
So typically, if a potential client or a person is interested in my services, normally I do what we call an assessment. Okay. There's an initial assessment that I do, and my assessment entails me being able to understand the nature of whatever situation a person is dealing with from a physical standpoint, whether it's, as I was saying, speaking before, rather it's dealing with inflammation, flexibility problems, range of motion, poor circulation, you name it. So once
stretching does all of that, works all
yes,
of it
sir.
out.
Yes, sir. Most definitely it does. And the thing about that is, when I do my assessment, then I'm able to determine what type of stretch program I can implement for that particular client.
So who should be getting stretched?
Pretty much everybody. Everybody.
I'm a big guy, and I've been on the stretch table, and I can speak for personal testimony dealing with asthma, man. I know when I was coming on a regular basis, you were really stretching and opening up my lungs, and I was amazed at how well I was able to breathe after a stretch session. Mm-hmm. And so would you say, when you talk about the inflammation, so you're saying the stretching does actually help with inflammation?
Yes, sir. Most definitely. a lot of people have inflammation issues. It could be, just briefly. It could be numerous issues. It could be a poor diet, just not being physically active, or you may have some type of pre-existing condition that may, trigger a lot of different things that makes the body respond to certain issues that you may be dealing with in a negative way.
Okay.
In a negative way.
Let the audience know that's listening, they want to participate or they want a session. How do they get in contact with you? How do they set up an assessment? What are the number of ways? I know you got a phone, you got a location, you got a website. Drop all of that information for us.
So initially, if a client is interested in my services, basically, as the brother was saying, you can actually go onto the website there, Stretch-Indy.com. Scroll through the page. There's a information section that you can fill out. Just basic pertinent information you can leave there. Then I will contact the potential client or person and reach back out to that person and set up initial assessment. As I said, typically training hours for me is in between the hours of 3 to 7.
Okay.
Right now, 3 to 7 right now. Also, there's some other information there on the website in regards to package deals that I offer. If you book more than one session, there's a discount.
The website again is
www.stretchindy.com or just stretchindy.com.
Stretchindy.com. You got any specials that you're throwing out right now for the audience?
Right now, I'm running a complimentary. It's ironic he said that. I'm running a complimentary until the 12th of next week, 15-minute complimentary free sessions for potential clients or people that's interested in my service. So that special is running right now from started it last Monday. The session, complimentary session ends the 12th.
That complimentary session will end on September the 12th, 2022. So I would definitely get to stretchindy.com. Where are you located?
Right now, I'm currently at 6201 Winthrop Avenue, Indianapolis, Indiana, Suite 4.
So you're in Broadway?
Yes, sir.
So do you make house calls?
Yes, sir. I'm in the process of now doing house calls, setting up appointments with potential clients that has various different disabilities through Medicaid and Medicare.
Okay, so you're setting up to do those house calls. You're doing the complimentary session assessments, and so what are the various links? Do you do like hour stretching, half hour, 15 minutes? What are the increments of your stretch session?
Well, it depends from client to client.
Okay.
Typically, we're looking at a max 30-minute sessions.
Okay.
Yep, 30 minutes.
And how often should someone be stretching? How often should they book a session?
It all depends. Normally, I prefer for a client their initial session. Sorry about that. Their initial session, I try to see if they will be willing to book at least 2 sessions with me a week.
2 sessions a week. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any testimonials that you want to share before we roll out with any clients that have come and they may have been at this point and now they're leaping over buildings in a single bound?
Most definitely. It's ironic he said that before we get off the podcast here. When I first started Stretch-Indy, I launched Stretch-Indy in 2020. I want to say right during the COVID. My first initial client was a gentleman that came to me, found me on what they call Black Dollar. He had some serious issues going on. He had knee replacement, had screws in his back. He had issues in his lower back area. He couldn't even hardly walk. So I worked with the gentleman probably about maybe a year and a half. And as of today, this brother here, he's actually touching his toes. He weighs around probably about 310.
Big guy.
Yes, sir.
He's smaller than me.
Yeah, he got you. Brother Philip. He a little bigger. He a little bigger. He a little bigger than you there, buddy.
I'm coming.
Most definitely. So that was an awesome testimony in regards to that brother, because the brother was in a terrible car accident a couple years ago. He's an ex-athlete. So that's one of the testimonies that pretty well much stood out to me for the most part.
Well, man, I'm glad you took time out your busy day to stop by and share what you were able to identify, what has worked for you. And your story, man, is kind of like mine, and probably one of the darkest moments of our life. We were able to stir up and identify what works for us, and there's no mistake about it. When you identify what works for you, you begin to bless other people.
Most definitely.
You begin to take your passion that becomes a solution for other people's problems. And I've watched, man, I don't know how many videos of you online just stretching people out, and
Most definitely.
You can see the difference in them being able to be stretched. And my personal testimony, when I was coming, just the way you feel after a session. Now it's a workout. I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. You come out being like, man. Okay.
Most definitely. Okay. You got to put in the work.
Yeah,
you got to be willing and dedicated and determined.
But you feel good afterwards, man, and your body is just flexed out, and you're ready for the next day. Man, thank you. Stretch-Indy. If you have not checked them out, you want to go to stretchindy.com, check out his website, check out his information, book a session with him, a complimentary session. That's the least you can do, and I guarantee you, if you do one session, it won't be your last. Thank you for tuning in to the We Power Podcast, the We Power broadcast, where we specialize in helping you identify and showing you the importance of you being able to identify what works for you and how that is so important to our community. Remember, be community wealth minded. Bless someone, help someone, and we thank you for tuning in to the We Power Podcast.